Alright guys, so I'm feeling a little extra nerdy tonight. I'm going to bring out the sports nerd inside of me. And I actually did this back in 2009 and I still laugh about the video that I made. But the last week of the season is always so confusing for sports fans because you never know how can your team get into the playoffs. But I'm going to make another video to help explain how you can know whether or not your team will make the playoffs. So in the AFC, there's four different scenarios where the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Chargers, and believe it or not, the Pittsburgh Steelers could possibly make the playoffs this year. So we've got three games that are of importance on Sunday. The first game is the Chargers and the Chiefs. If the Chargers beat the Chiefs, the Chargers would be 9-7. The Ravens play the Bengals. If the Ravens beat the Bengals, they would be 9-7. The Dolphins play the Jets. If the Dolphins beat the Jets, they would be 9-7 as well. So, in the scenario that all three teams win, the tiebreaker goes to the Miami Dolphins. They have the best conference record and would get the tiebreaker. Now, in the scenario that either the Dolphins or the Chargers lose, the tiebreaker goes to the Ravens because the Ravens would hold a head-to-head tiebreaker against either the Dolphins or the Chargers. And obviously, in the scenario that 2 out of 3 teams lose, only one team would finish 9-7. And that team would be your wild card. In the scenario that the Ravens would lose and Miami and San Diego would have 9-7 records, Miami would have the head-to-head tiebreaker against San Diego. So San Diego's only hope is they have to win it outright, 9-7. They get no tiebreaker in any scenario. So now, the craziest scenario of all that is actually very possible is if the Chiefs, who have, 11 or 12 wins, the Bengals, who have 11 or 12 wins, if they beat the Chargers and the Ravens, and then if the Jets, who are 7-8, can beat the 8-7 Dolphins, which is, 50-50 game, and Pittsburgh wins their game, that would put 5 teams finishing at 8-8. The Jets, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who would own the tiebreaker. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are just ridiculously, epically, historically just terrible, would be your playoff team from the AFC. Which would just, I think, blow everybody's mind if that happened. But really possible. I would if I had to pick those games right now, I would probably pick the Bengals. I would probably pick the Chiefs. After today, I would probably pick the Jets. And then Pittsburgh's been looking good. So the Steelers, man, maybe the Steelers are in the playoffs. That'd be crazy. So see what happens next week.